My name is Billy Little. My position, the family has asked me to assist. I'm an attorney and an investigator. The family has asked me to help locate the sister, daughter, missing Maya Millete. The family asked me, the family approached me when Maya went missing and nobody had heard from her. She went missing on the 7th. The family contacted me, I believe, on the 9th, after she had been gone a day and a half or so, asked me if I could assist in finding May or Maya. I'll just call her May.
Can you tell me how you ended up doing a walkthrough of the house? When did you do it, and why did you do it?
So it was the 11th of January of 2021. I went over there. I'm not sure if Larry, the husband, was going to open the door, was going to talk to me. I just went up, knocked on the door, told him who I was. He invited me in the house. I went in the house. I immediately noticed the windows all open, the fans on full blast. It was chilly in the house. I told him I was there looking for May, and he invited me in, and I had a discussion with him. We walked through the house, went up to the bedroom where she had been locking herself in for the past several days to ostensibly get away from Larry. When I went to the bedroom, I immediately noticed a hole, probably 10 inches long by about 6 to 8 inches tall, rectangular shape that had been freshly repaired. It was right by the handle. There was a lock on the inside of the door. I touched the repair material and noticed that it was still damp. I said, "Hey, Larry, this is still wet. It looks like you freshly repaired this door." And he said, "Oh, no, that was a hole that May had punched in the door." So, and I knew that that was untrue from other stories that I'd gotten about how the holes in the house had come to be.
The hole was on the outside of the door, right?
Well, it went through the door, went through both sides of the door. So, in other words, and this is just, let's say the door is locked, you wanted to break in the door or get to the door, you could punch through that hole, reach through the other side, and unlock the door from the other side. The location of it was maybe 3.5 feet, the height of the doorknob. So it's not the position that a person, if you're just angry and punching a wall, it's not the position that the hole would be in. Now, I did see another hole in the bedroom wall that was consistent with maybe a shoulder level punching hole.
Was that one
But
still wet as well?
that one was not wet. That one had dried, but it appeared to be the same repair material, some type of putty or stucco material.
When you walked in the house and all the windows were open and the fan was on, or fans, I'm not sure if there was more than one, um, did you ask Larry about it?
No, I knew that that was going to be the case because of the people that I talked to before I went to the house. They told me that the house had been open with all the windows on, and that Larry had told them that the air conditioner was broken, and that's why he was doing it. Um, so
Okay.
I didn't ask him when I went in there. I already expected that to be the condition of the house. I was mostly at that point seeing if I could smell anything, if I could smell any bleach or smell the smell of a dead body. And of course, there's absolutely no smell. I mean, the air movement was such that you couldn't smell anything in that house.
How did you know that there was a freezer missing when you did that walkthrough?
Again, I had been informed by other witnesses that I spoke to that there was an allegation that there was a freezer that had been taken out of the garage, um, and that turned out to be true. I confirmed that both at the house and when I uh, found the freezer from the person who had taken the freezer.
Okay, so you went in. One of your goals was to look for the freezer. Tell me how that went.
Well, my real goal in going in the house, my primary goal was to start to establish a relationship with Larry. so that I would have an open line of communication with him so that I could go back and back, and this would not be a one-time shot. I had some other information that I knew about the house and about Larry that I tested while I was in there having a conversation with him. One piece of information that I knew going in was that he had asked someone to borrow gun cleaning equipment to clean his guns on that weekend. So that seemed odd to me. When your wife is missing, you want to start cleaning your guns. So I tested that with Larry. He confirmed that with me, that he had in fact asked somebody to borrow gun cleaning equipment. I then discussed with him about gunshot residue on his hands. He said, "Oh yeah, I've been out shooting the last few days." So I wanted to test that. Wanted to see about the freezer. So as I do a walkthrough, I just wanted to look for things that I knew or expected to be. I looked in the room quite extensively, looking to see if I could see anything that had been obviously cleaned up or repaired, like the holes in the walls. But it was mostly conversational with Larry. Again, establishing a relationship with the belief that I would have another opportunity to talk to him, which I did not.
Why did you not?
The Chula Vista Police Department asked me not to talk to him anymore. So I didn't want to interfere with their investigation. So I didn't. At that point, I assumed that they were moving forward aggressively with this case. And again, it's not my goal to interfere with somebody's investigation. So if they have a plan, they didn't share their plan with me. If they had an interrogation plan or an investigation plan, they didn't share any of that information with me. I just deferred to their judgment at that point.
Can you tell me, okay, where did you go to look for the freezer? Where was it supposed to be, and what did you discover when you were in the house?
So the garage had been cleaned. Again, didn't notice a smell of bleach, but the garage had clearly been cleaned. Things I hadn't seen the garage before, but it was pretty spotless in there, and the freezer that the people told me should have been there was not there, and the people that told me that the freezer had been missing, the freezer wasn't there. So at that point, there's no reason to talk to Larry about it. He's just I assume he's going to lie to me like he did on some other things. So I just tracked down the freezer myself. I left when I found the location of the freezer. Actually, before I found the location of the freezer, I called Chula Vista Police and I said, "Hey, there's a freezer missing from the garage." They said, "Okay, thanks." At that point, they were still accepting information from me. Then there was no action, so I found the freezer myself. I went over and found it from one of Larry's relatives, went to his house, interviewed him, inspected the freezer, and have a photo of the freezer, which I provided to you.
What's his side of the story and how he got the freezer?
He said that he had been planning on taking that freezer for a long time. So that was just coincidence that it happened within 24 hours or 30 hours of her going missing inside the same garage.
What day is your understanding that he took the freezer out of the garage?
The Saturday, the 9th of January.
Do you know when?
I don't.
Okay.
I think he said it was in the morning, but I don't.
All right. Okay. Very good. Through your investigation of this case, tell me about you've received text messages from Maya and also from Larry. Tell me about how you obtain these text messages generally.
It's when I'm interviewing witnesses. They will tell me about something. I'll say, "Do you still have that text message?" If they haven't, I'll ask them to either forward it to me or take a picture of it on their phone. In fact, when I was in the house, Larry had his phone out and mentioned a text message and let me take a picture of his text messages. So that's just what I do. People are generally accommodating, and so multiple witnesses in this case either showed me their text messages, let me take pictures, forwarded me the text messages. There were some Facebook chats that they would screenshot and send to me. So I have a large number of texts and Facebook messages and emails that I've collected.
Okay, so through the course of your investigation and obtaining these text messages, you have come to understand that Larry was concerned about May having affairs, right?
Yes.
How can you characterize his text messages and his concerns, and what actions did he take regarding these alleged affairs?
So the best I can tell, that it started in January of 2020. The text messages that he sent numbered sometimes in the hundreds per day. And it was, obsession would be the right word for it. He started by complaining to family members. He started by accusing his wife of having an affair, going to her supervisor, insisting that male coworkers be moved, with absolutely no evidence that there was an affair going on. I have interviewed all the people involved in that particular instance, and so that was the first time his obsession continued. Then it went from that individual to another individual that was a coworker. It started ramping up as 2020 went on, and as May started moving more and more towards a divorce, he became more and more desperate. The religion was used with family members, with May, all through the beginning of 2020, all the way probably up until September, when it was not working with May. He tried to force her to read the Bible. He tried to read the Bible to her over long trips, and it would just annoy her. He would quote scripture. I think I've sent you some of those. And so that didn't appear to be working as a way to control May, to get her to stay in the marriage. It didn't appear to be working to use religion to have her family force her. He also tried to have the pastor force her to stay in the marriage. And then I sent you the picture of the blood altar that he created, with the picture of May's face and his face and the candles around it and blood sprinkled on it. And at this point, May is talking to her friends and family members and people and saying that she's definitely going to get a divorce now. And this is at the end of 2020, just prior to her going missing. She has to go to family to ask to borrow money to retain an attorney, because Larry has locked her out of the bank accounts. He's changed the safe combination in the house. Even though she's the primary breadwinner, she doesn't have control over the money in the relationship. He does. So she goes to family members to borrow money to hire an attorney so that she can get out of that marriage. We do tend to get sucked into this black hole that Larry wants us to get sucked into, which is discussing whether or not she was having affairs, right? And I haven't been able to confirm that. I can tell that there's a lot of irrational thought coming from him, and he's made at least one false allegation of that. But this is the discussion that Larry wants us to have about whether May is a bad person or not. It's a giant red herring that he's been sending the family on for the past year. He was ultimately unable to control her. The day she went to the divorce lawyer to set up the appointment is the day she went missing.
You spoke with the divorce attorney. Tell me what her plans were and the timeline of that, how it coincides with her going missing.
So she filled out the intake form on the Thursday that she went missing. The appointment was scheduled for the next Tuesday. I got involved probably on the 9th of January. And so I contacted the divorce attorney. I'm guessing it was on the Monday. I don't have a log of that. So her appointment was for Tuesday. And at that point, I already suspected, that she would not show up, but I confirmed that when she did miss her appointment on Tuesday. I confirmed that she did not show up or call. So she set up the appointment with the divorce attorney on Thursday, during the day on Thursday. She then had a three-way call, Facebook call with her friends that evening, probably around 5:30. And that is the last that anybody heard from her. So Thursday evening, sometime after 5:30, is when something terrible must have happened. This is a circumstantial case because we don't have a body yet. It may never have a body, but prosecuting murderers shouldn't depend on how well they can dispose of bodies. And there are a lot of cases that go to trial without a body. And this one, the circumstantial evidence is so strong, but you need all of it. So, for example, you need to know that on December 25th, he had a conversation with a witness saying that he wanted to kill May, but he had to plan it well. That on that same date, he also expressed a desire to kill the purported boyfriend. And then fast forward a week, on January 4th, he has another conversation with a person who says, hey, would you help me hire somebody to kill May's boyfriend for $20,000? And then 3 or 4 days later, she goes missing after that. After she decides, okay, I've had enough, I'm filing for divorce, boom, now she's gone. Then you have to put that into context with the things that come after that, which is him stalling the family to report her missing, knowing, in his own words, that the first 48 hours are the most important time period. So knowing that, he stalls the police until after 48 hours. And then combine that with, he says that he goes to the beach for 12 hours or so on Friday, leaves his phone at home, doesn't bring the kids' phones, and doesn't have a phone, any sort of tracking device. And then he's gone for 12 hours after she goes missing. But every weekend after she went missing, there was a search party, and he participated in none of those. So according to him, he didn't have time because he had the kids. So he's got time to go to the beach when she goes missing, allegedly goes to the beach, but he doesn't have time to go look for his wife who's missing. And so it's a story, and it's a circumstantial case. And I think that it's hard to put it into context without knowing all of the information.